Tucker. I am the host of Tucker Business and Travel, and I'm here with a very special friend of mine, Umi Howard. We've known each other for many years, and Philadelphia, go, go, go.
Let's
Oh,
go.
Philly,
Let's go.
there you
Come
go.
on.
Philly all the way. It's a pleasure to have you on, sir. It's a pleasure to bring you to the audience. I've known you for many years and known your family and known about your travels and your ventures, and I thought it'd be a great idea to have you visit the show and talk to folks about your passion and your family's passion for traveling. But before we get into that, you want to introduce yourself and let us know who you are and what you do?
Sure. As you said, I'm Umi Howard. I am a uh, person that's born and raised in Philadelphia. I've lived other places, but come back when our oldest, my wife and my oldest son, was about to be born. So been back in Philly for about 18, 19 years now. And I work at the Wharton School at University of Pennsylvania in the McNulty Leadership Program. So we do leadership development programs for undergrads and graduate students, as well as for Wharton executive education. So we get to meet with professionals, leaders, and managers working in businesses all around the world, and get to work with students that are going to go out into the world and pursue their business paths.
Excellent, excellent. And we are going to have another follow-up conversation about that aspect of your life and that particular work. So you're welcome to join us because we do business and travel. But today we want to talk about travel, the passion behind it, because I know that also led to some of your decisions about your career and what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
How did you get the passion for travel? Where did all that start?
Well, it's really interesting. I had a pretty unusual experience when I was young. So I'm 51. So we're talking back in the sort of late 70s,
Hmm.
early 80s, where my father worked for an organization called OIC International. So a Black-led organization started by a guy named Reverend Dr. Leon H. Sullivan. And essentially, what he was creating was workforce development programs all around the world. So
Hmm.
there were over 25 in different African countries represented by the OIC network, as well as over 100 in the US in different cities at its kind of apex. So my father spent his whole career there, 40 years plus, working for OIC. And what that meant for me as a child was uh, every 3 months, he would travel for a month to a group of African countries. So he might go to Togo and Guinea, and then Nigeria, and then come back. And so he would do this every 3 months. He'd travel for a month and come back, and it was a pretty like regular cycle. I'd say for multiple years out of my childhood, maybe 7, 8 years at least. So for me, what happened was it just gave me this exposure, not only through him telling stories, but he would also have colleagues come visit us in
Okay.
Philadelphia at the OIC headquarters and like stay at his place. You know what I mean? So
So you had this international vibe going even at home.
yeah, yeah, even in my house.
Hmm.
Literally, people would come visit and, they'd be making like peanut soup or, doing those kinds of things like in our kitchen. They'd be, my father and them would tell stories about the work in the field. So I
Did
had
you
just some
actually go to
exposure.
visit any of the countries with him at any point? Did you actually go with him, or he was always out on his own and coming back?
Yeah, yeah. So this is the interesting part. So I, from the age 2 to 5, I lived in Liberia,
Mm.
um, in the capital city in Monrovia, uh, along with my pop and my mom. We lived there while he was country director for the Liberia OIC. So he
Oh,
was
okay.
there to essentially help, run that affiliate as a learning ground because it was relatively new still at that time. This is again late 70s that
Okay.
we're talking about, and it was just kind of getting off the ground. OIC International. So my first memories are actually from Liberia, living in this like, this house there, having, a dog named Coffee, going to British preschool. I had the like tall black, socks to go up to the
Right,
knee,
right.
as a kid. So my first memories are there, that, and then coming to Philly, coming to Germantown as a 5-year-old, entering into kindergarten, and then needing to kind of get used to American life, essentially.
Wow, wow. And so, how did all this like impact your family? Because I know we usually pull a lot of our experiences from our families as we become parents, and then make that into our experiences for our children. So, how did this impact your family life?
Well, I'll say that there's a one bridge of the story. So I never traveled, like we never vacationed um, when I was a kid. So
Mm.
even though I lived, as I said, in Liberia and came back when I was 5, those are like my first memories. When I say this, I'm not kidding. The furthest we ever went was like the Amish country, right?
Okay.
Um, in Atlantic City, where my grandma, still had a house, and we would go down. But like that was all of the traveling that
Umi, for one second, for our international audience, like
I. Okay.
I'm laughing because we know exactly what that is. That's basically an hour. Okay, folks,
Yeah,
that's about an hour, not even like 30 minutes. It's like 30 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic. So
an
that's why
hour
we're
away.
laughing. It's not that far.
Yeah, it's an hour away. So that's all I did between 5 and 18. And
Okay.
then, as a complete surprise, my father gave me a ticket to London, a round trip ticket to London for my graduation present when I turned 18. So
Oh.
the summer when I turned 18, I spent a week, staying in a hostel and just kind of like roaming around London, going to
Hmm.
all these different museums, right? Because it was the only thing that was free. I had like $200 in my pocket. This is, I
Right,
was
right.
broke. It was a long time ago, but I spent this week kind of going around and basically looking at like all these stolen treasures from, Asia and Africa and, like all over from the Middle East, right? That, were in these British museums.
Right.
And my mind was blown, right? Because I had read and, knew a decent amount about like colonialism and all that
Hmm,
stuff
hmm.
from
But you
not
actually
only
saw it.
school,
Right,
but like my upbringing, right?
right.
But to see like, oh, like these are like, it's like an African mask that looks like the one that hangs in my house that my pop got from,
Exactly. Yeah,
Lesotho,
yeah.
actually like pinned up, you know what I mean, behind
Hmm,
glass, taken from, you know what I mean, like that
hmm.
same group, right? By this like colonial empire. So like just all of that juxtaposition just made me very curious about the world, curious about seeing different parts of it, and wanting
Right.
to hear the different stories because, as you know, as Americans, we were raised up, particularly my era, you sort of raised up with this colonial view on the rest of the world. It's like dark Africa, and you know what I mean. All of
Hmm,
these
hmm.
stereotypes that I think are going away with time, but we're really
Hmm.
kind of like deeply entrenched. And I knew personally were bullshit for the most part because of, you know what I mean, like the kind of unique experience I had as a kid.
Yeah, and we mature into this as well, right? So you had a very good opportunity from a very young age to actually set foot and to be in the continent. And then there are other of us that learned or heard about the continent and said, "Oh, this is where I want to go. This is what I see." And I also have to say that that is fantastic that that was your high school graduation present. Most of us were down at the shore for high school graduation, an hour away, eating pizza and drinking soda or whatever. And but you're like in the museums in England, looking at the remnants and looking at the trophy, so to speak, of what the colonizers were doing, and actually seeing, oh, this is the connection. I was actually there. I know what the indigenous population is. I know what this is, and so you get to see that. That it really is mind blowing, and that has a definite effect. So what has that done for you?
Well, that was I would say that was very much it wasn't the beginning, but it certainly like opened a kind of wide door to my curiosity about just
Sure.
seeing the world. I would say like fundamentally for me, traveling is about seeing the different ways that people organize their lives and kind of make a way in
Mhm.
lots of different situations, right? So
Sure.
like,